gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. I know I've been out for a little bit. I've been a little sick and under the weather. I have allergies for the first time. It's really weird. But even though that craziness has happened, I have a great guest. Welcome to the party. Is on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and I've been really trying to get him on here because it's like I'm trying to get more creators in the community. I met you at a great event. It was WTF Happy Hour. It was run by Shot by Pain.
Shout out to Pain.
Yes. And so definitely love to have you on. And so I always ask the guests at the beginning of each episode, I say, what do you define yourself as? What do you do creatively? What is your not so day job that you do?
All right, so my not so day job would be photography. That's something I specialize in currently. I've been shooting for about 7 years, but it's been on and off. So I'm at the point where I want to take it seriously, networking and try to get my work out there and hopefully become a better person out of it as well. Pushing myself to the limits with photography. So
nice. So how did you initially get into it? Like, what was that initial inspiration that said, okay, I really want to pick up a camera and just even start experimenting in the first place?
So growing up, I have been like a very creative child. I used to rap, write poetry, draw. My cousin's a photographer, and he's my main influence for becoming a photographer. So whenever he does weddings or shoot models, he asks me, hey, do you want to become my human tripod? You know,
okay.
the sun reflector and stuff like that.
Right.
So ever since then, fell in love with it, but I didn't want to be the assistant anymore. I wanted to be the man behind the camera.
Gotcha.
So when I went to college, what every kid do with their financial aid money is
I know how
camera.
that goes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did and fell in love with it. Took a lot of pictures for a lot of organizations, did graduation photo shoots, and met a good community of photographers there that we did photo walks and we took pictures and learned from each other. So that's how it all started.
Nice. Now, have you always grew up here, or like I know a lot of people in Orlando usually come from other places and then they come here usually for like school or whatever else. So like, where are you originally from?
So my ethnic background, I'm Vietnamese, but I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida. And a fun fact is that I've never been out of the state until like maybe 3-4 years ago.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But you know what? That really happens. I go back home and in my little state of North Carolina, many people never like get out. Like I'm like, you haven't seen even the next state over? And they're like, no. So it does get crazy like that, but that's really good. So what was the first place that you visited?
All right. So in college, my senior year, a little after my senior year, the first date that I've been out to was Atlanta. So
okay.
It was
Okay, Atlanta is a pretty nice place. Now, what were you out there for, or was this family vacation? Or
it was for a student organization. So I was part of Vietnamese student organization. So we went there to support the other organizations up there in Athens. Afterwards, a couple of months later, I ended up going to like Tennessee to camp. This year, for the first time, I've been to New York.
Okay.
No, I lied. Last year, 2018.
Okay.
I went to New York and California. And then I went back to Atlanta this year in January. But instead of going there for like other organizations or whatnot, it was mainly for creative venture. So to be honest, I really love Atlanta right now.
Okay.
The culture there is super deep. Everywhere you go, you see like creatives everywhere. And most of my friends up there are creatives. So
nice.
It might be a future place in the future for me, but I want to build my base in Orlando and network because you see Orlando as tourist attraction as most people see it.
Exactly.
But if you look deep into the creative of Orlando, there's a lot of people like you never knew you would meet. So I mean, I met you, I met Payne. Like it's crazy right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here, and I think that's one thing that I've said over the years is there's a lot of people here, but no one pays attention because all they know is Universal Studios and Disney.
Correct.
And when I say, oh, have you ever been downtown Orlando? They're like, y'all have a downtown? And, so I feel like Orlando is definitely growing. And I feel like every single time there's a new wave of college kids that come in to go to the various colleges around here, Valencia, UCF, places like that. It just kind of expands, and you see a lot of people hit the street, and there's a lot of creatives in the community. But I do also want to hit on that point about Atlanta. A lot of people do move out to Atlanta. Like, that's the hot spot right now. That's where the film jobs are. It's pretty much the new Hollywood, as they say. So I could definitely see that as a place that you might want to go, for sure. Now, what were you going to school for at the time?
So when I first started, I was trying to be a radiologist.
Okay.
My mindset was like, oh, I like photography, so let's, take pictures of the body, x-rays and stuff.
That's a very interesting twist to go to. I have never heard that before. I wanted to take pictures. So I want to take pictures of the... I have never heard that parallel. That might be a first for me ever.
I mean, you make more money,
That's true.
And people need x-rays.
Oh,
so
man. I've had to pay a radiologist for stuff. So, yes. I understand.
That was my mindset. But then, classes got rough. When you're in your freshman year, you switch all the time. So it was like engineering to business marketing and advertising. At the end of the day, I sell with anthropology. Because I know that I don't want to do science or medical or technology in the future. I wanted to deal with something creative, and I feel like I can, instead of paying more money, I can put myself out there, network, do what I'm really good at to be where I want to be, rather than just go in the regular route of being successful, as people would say.
Gotcha. So. Now, I know a lot of kids, they have it put onto them like they have to go a certain way because they feel like that's what their parents want them to do. Mm-hmm. And what I've noticed is most kids go, and like you say, they start out with something that is safe.
Yep.
Like, you should be a doctor or a lawyer or, whatever. But then most people that I see do branch out and end up actually in a field that they never went to college for. Yep. So that's very interesting, just that whole narrative about being a radiologist, and then everything kind of switched. So like, as far as getting out there, like, what would you say kind of like is a highlight for you so far doing photography? Like, what's been like the greatest thing that's happened so far that has really been like, man, I love photography?
Damn, that's so hard.
I would say, I'll put it like this. I would say, are there any events or people that you've worked with or photographed that you were like, that was really a cool moment to be able to like photograph them or go to that event?
Okay. I haven't photographed anyone famous or, anyone highly known or anything like that. But I guess something I can say about what I love about photography is it actually brought me out of my comfort zone. I'm a very shy guy. Like, I may be social, I may look like I go out a lot, and because I do a lot of things on the side. Like, I like to eat a lot of different food. I go to a lot of food events.
Gotcha.
But with photography is like, it throws you in a position where you have to talk to people, where you have to network. So that kind of broke me out of my shell. Like, for example, photographing a female. I've dated before, but it's like when you photograph a female that looks good, it's like you don't know what to say. You're afraid that you might get the bad side or something like that. Gotcha. But you won't know unless you try. So, like the event last week when we did that, I was nervous. You see me just standing there with my camera.
Yo, I didn't even know if it was nervous. I just thought this is just like a reserved guy. Like, the guy doesn't really talk to too many people. Like, he probably know pain, and he just like, I'm just here and I'm just chilling. But I didn't know you were like nervous or whatever.
I was nervous. It was to the point where I wasn't gonna show up to the event. To be real with you,
man. Yeah, I will tell people, because I was making like a little YouTube video to go, because I do this like creator topics section for my YouTube as well. Mm-hmm. And one of those was going to talk about networking, and that whole thing is you have to get out. I'm saying in the video, you got to get off of just Instagram and Facebook and social media, and that the world still wants that physical contact, because we want to know who you are as a person and like your character. So I'm glad you came out to the event. And I do see a lot a lot of guys do get nervous, especially working around female models. And I have, when I was doing photography, I have photographed people who are partially nude and things of that nature and stuff like that. And it's a different feel and it's a different vibe. And you have to build up a rapport with people before that happens. But you do go out to events, like the girls out there were not afraid to be like, two of them was like, hey, look, I'm out here in a bathing suit, booty out and stuff like that. But like but they felt comfortable in the environment with the people that were there. And so I think it's more or less that you just got to put in the back of your mind that especially if a woman wants to shoot with you, regardless if it's partial nudity or not, or just regular fashion, is that a woman being able to show up to an event or a place to shoot with you is because they love your work. Yeah. They could shoot with anybody. There's tons of guys out there or whatever, but they want to shoot with you because they like what you do. And it's like, I would say, have that confidence in you to be like, oh, she reached out to me. Like, she wants to work with me in the first place. Like, I must be dope. And that, so, boast about yourself a little bit. I've seen the photos on your profile. I'm like, you got some dope photos on your profile.
Oh, you visit the website?
I visit IG, the IG feed. I checked out the IG feed. Right. I was like, kids dope. I did, man, nothing that I could do. I was like, look, man, the people today, I was like, I went to video. I do a lot better in video and film. Yeah. I was like, some of the photos coming out, even from that event, I was looking at some of the ones that were put up by some of the photographers. I'm like, y'all are dope. I was like, y'all really got skill. Y'all really have that passion in there for it. And so that's what I noticed. But moving on from that, it's like, would you say that, because I always talk about people's highs, but I also like to highlight, were there any low points, like any points that you felt like, dang, like something bad happened, or like it made you want to give up or feel like, I don't know if photography is going to work out for me? Like, what was that moment and how did you like push through that moment?
There's plenty of moments in my life about thinking about quitting photography. Like I said, dang, there's so many I have to think about. I mean, also the fact that with photography, the market is pretty saturated now. Anyone can pick up a camera and take pictures, even with your phone, because that's how good phone cameras are nowadays. So whenever I go out and take pictures, whenever I go out and have fun and someone's like, oh, can you please take a picture with, their phone? And I give it to them and walk away and just see they ask someone else. It's just like, dang, I'm a photographer.
Yeah, I know.
My picture's not that good. But then at the end of the day, the way I conquer it and start telling myself, even with going to that event last week, I didn't want to go because I felt all the other photographers are better than me. I felt that like, they're not gonna talk to me, because I've noticed that some photographers are not social. They just like to do their own work. It's harder to talk to some people sometimes, and it felt like it's a competition. It's like, yo, you back up. This is my model type of thing, But then I realized that everyone has a different eye. Even though I don't see, the thing is, you are your worst critic. And I may see that my pictures aren't the best, but maybe someone else sees that it's good. And I realized that like taking pictures is like writing an essay. There's no wrong or right way.
Gotcha.
It's the way you interpret it. And if someone likes it, then they like it. If more people like it, then that means they have the same eye, or they can see your vision. And that's what I learned, because I've always looked back at my pictures, even in the past, and say, this is trash. I want to give up.
Every photographer has.
My composition is off. I edit too much. And I have my cousin's best friend. He owns a photo booth. Shout out to Snap Studio Photo Booth.
Hey.
He taught me everything, but whenever he tells me stuff, like, I always put myself down because I'm not good at taking criticism. So that's one thing too, is criticism has brought me down many times.
Gotcha.
I'm at the point where I'm just like, I don't care, because you see YouTube content, you see Instagram content, it's trash, but people get followers. It's all about the attention of what people like.
Correct.
So be yourself, and that's what I learned. Just be myself and just keep pushing through it no matter what, because this is what I'm good at. And I learned to take a lot of compliments from people. I tend to throw away a lot of compliments. People say
I was definitely there too. Yep.
People say you're good. I'm like, nah, man, because you could do better.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, if you actually take a second just to appreciate those comments, you take in more positivity, and you're like, okay, they say I'm good, I'm gonna keep pushing it, and I'm gonna do it. And till that day, when that day comes, I would be like, yes, I agree with you.
and I think that's a thing that you highlighted on for feeling like I shouldn't be here, and that's one thing that I've listened to lately on some of the business podcasts. Shout out to Gary V over there, Gary Vaynerchuk. Talking about imposter syndrome. Also, Sarah Dietschy, she talked about that as well. A well-known YouTuber. She also produces a lot of content herself, and she's like, there are times where like you get in a room and you feel like, why am I in this room? There's I'm sitting in front of these people. They're listening to me. I look up to these people. These people produce this crazy work. There's no way I'm on that level. But then I just say you got to realize like you're there because they wanted you there. If you were there because like, I mean, there's some people that do get into rooms and they probably shouldn't be there. Yeah. And probably because they're the cousin or the sister or the brother of somebody, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they get the high position at the company. However, if you know you're not that, but you're in the room, like you have to start having that awareness of yourself. And I believe that is a thing that all creators struggle with. Yep. You know, so I think that's one part of it. And talking about the criticism, it is social media. There are some people that just want to see the world burn. Yeah. You'll put a photo out and you'll get like 30 people that say, that is great, man. That is awesome. Welcome to the party. It has like some amazing stuff. And then here comes 5 comments. I don't know, man. The girl kind of look okay. Like, that's why did you edit the skin like that? Mm-hmm. Oh, man, look, man, her hair looks like trash because you put that edit on. They'll say that, but you have to go and I say for me, like doing YouTube, I love it. It's almost like therapeutic. Yeah. Because I can put content out and people can say, I don't know, I don't like your framing. It doesn't look as good as this podcast. And I'm like, yeah. And you know how I respond to those comments? You got to respond to them in the nicest way, and sometimes you can do mic drops. And my mic drop to those people is when they say, oh, it doesn't look as good as such and such or whatever, and you don't have enough camera angles because I only use one and whatever. And I just say, hi, well, thank you for commenting and taking a view today. Also, yes, I don't have the money to afford all the cameras that such and such channel has. If you notice that such and such channel has over 1 million followers and they have 2 Canon C200s and da-da-da-da-da, and I just hit them with an explanation that they can't deny. And sometimes those troll accounts are real people, and you'll see them respond and be like, I'm sorry, like, I didn't think about it that way. And it's like, yeah. And so I feel like even responding to your trolls is good because it's the interaction, and that you got to understand. I tell people this: when people are haters, you have to understand that person is below you because they spent time out of their day to come to your picture, to your video, which gave you a view count, which helped you. And then they spent an extra 2 minutes on their phone going, let me come up with something bad to say.
That's true.
Right? Not even constructive criticism. Not like, hey, man, the photo looks great. Hey, there's a technique. Maybe you should use this to maybe like bring her cheeks out a little bit more on her face. Like, I think that would be a cool thing to do. See, that's not saying your pictures. That is saying, hey, look, man, I think you could even make it better. It's constructive. But for the people who like to see the world burn, you just respond to them and just understand that they have wasted minutes of their time looking at your work. Which means if your work was really so trash, they would have saw your thing in their feed and went scroll past.
That's true.
See, I'm breaking down for the haters out there.
Nice.
Yeah, I see you. Thank you.
I haven't got any negative feedback, but it's good to know how to take care of it and how to, just brush it off. So.
Yeah, I do not care anymore. I used to care, but when I ran the other channel, which is still up and running, if Samantha will stop being busy being a actress, but like we have another channel, and I've had comments saying, Joe, like you're over talking her and this, that, and the third and whatever. And I'm like, cool. Next podcast, she talks the whole way and says, and then we have a negative comment like, look at her taking over the podcast and da-da-da. And I said, you know what? You're not going to win against these people. It's just that you put it out and we just like, hey, it is what it is, man. So anyway, moving on from that though. So I'm glad that you're able to like work through and go through those things. Like, so what would you say, I guess your goals like coming up now, like what are your future goals for photography or anything else that you have going on? Like, what do you want to do?
So I have like a couple of projects I'm working on. I am definitely want to be full-time photography. Like not as just doing it as a completely job, but to learn more techniques and photograph different things. I do want to shoot more models, because that's what I am lacking with. Back then, I do a lot of like graduation. I do like baby showers, like all family oriented thing. I know that I'm pretty young and I'm into like the street culture, so I really want to stick with fashion right now.
Gotcha.
So do a whole bunch of those.
And also I can tell, because this man comes in, he's got a custom, look, I'm at the event like, bro, this dude got a custom jacket, got people signing it, which is dope.
Hey, you're going to sign it later too.
Oh, I'm going to sign? What? I get to sign it?
Yeah, man.
Yo, I get to sign the jacket, yo.
I'll talk about the jacket later too.
All right, we right. But I was going to bring up the jacket. But yeah, it was just like, yeah, he's in the fashion, I can tell. Because this dude is like, I'm like, wait a minute. Did this dude come in and I'm seeing this and I'm like, is that a Supreme bag? Yo, we got, yo, hype beast.
No, man,
what's up? No, I'm just playing.
It's just something that like when you're young, you see something, right? Now that I'm not saying I'm rich or anything like that. When you're stable and you're single, you would do things your own way. You just want to get everything you want back then.
I see it as an investment. I see it as an investment, like you said. So going back to your goals, you were talking about photography and getting more into fashion. So what about that? Are you trying to go into like what is it to get to like a magazine one day? Is it to just, I guess, just be known more, or like what is that?
I want it to be like magazine, but at the end of the day, I want to help other brands, like upcoming brands with their pictures and stuff like that. Because it's hard to, I mean, everything is possible. It's hard to do or imagine about bigger magazines. Why work for a big company when you can help someone, and if you help a startup, you're starting that journey with them. I'd rather do the journey rather than, okay, hey guys, this is Times Magazine. My picture's right here.
Gotcha.
At the end of the day, it's all about the journey. Because I've read articles where people just started off with photography, took Northern Light pictures, and bam, making thousands of dollars.
Right.
I don't want to jump into being famous or just like that, or known just like that. I want to be part of the journey, because that's all that matters. Going through those times and starting up, and you can see from zero to starting from the bottom, Drake.
Right.
So that's one of the things. It's like just I like fashion, and that's something I am more aware of. So just taking pictures of pieces together, or just shoes, or just clothing pieces, that's pretty dope. Piggybacking on that, I actually have a clothing brand I'm working on. I've hung out with a lot of people who are starting their own clothing brand.
Correct.
And I'm the guy, even though I'm a photographer, I love brands. So I went Nike head to toe, Supreme and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The things that they've done, I could do it too, know? And so I thought a couple of things. I can't really announce it yet because it's still in the works.
I got it. I got you.
But I feel like this brand that I'm working on is like something I've relate to the rest of my life. And I feel like other people could relate to it. Even like right now, I'm talking to people about it, about certain conversations. I'm like, see, once I introduce my brand, I know you're gonna like hop on it and love it. But I would say that it's something simple, nothing too graphic-y or anything like that, but it's something that people could relate to. I started that brand because of prior experience last year. But then it's also carry on from back then, as well as I learned that from music. A lot of artists that I've listened to, like for example, one of my favorite artists right now, besides The Weeknd, is Black from Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
And when I heard his music, I'm like, yo, I could relate to his stuff. And everyone that I've seen like interviews or like fan cams and stuff, like, oh, like Black, like I like you because I could relate to you. And I realized a lot of people like stuff if they could relate to it.
Correct.
So the things that I'm going through, I'm like, dang, people will definitely relate to it because it's very common and people will love it because they know that they've been in that position before.
Yeah.
So whenever it's announced, hopefully soon, I just gotta, grind and, put work into it. It's a lot of work. You have to worry about trademark and all this other stuff and make sure it looks good. So that clothing brand is on the way. I want to brand more on Welcome to the Party.
Okay.
You guys may ask why I name myself Welcome to the Party. Before is actually late to the party because everything I've been into, like the sneakers or music and stuff, I'm late to it.
Okay.
The trend, I'm always late to it.
Gotcha.
But not a lot of people understood it. And Welcome to the Party was created because I thought about opening a YouTube channel. So that was my opening catchphrase. It was like, welcome to the party, fam. I am late to the party.
Okay.
But I told one of my friends about it, and they're like, yo, I really like that more. And I'm like,
gotcha.
Dang, I do.
But you know what? I like to flip on that. Just kind of like, I don't know, I kind of think deeply about things when I hear people have like meanings to their brands and stuff like that. You talking about, it being inspired by legendary companies like Nike, like Supreme, and many other street brands. But then you talk about like welcome to the party. You said, late to the party. I was always late on all the things that were there. And you're now saying welcome to the party. I think it's a cool name because it's kind of like saying also like welcome to the party is like now this is my brand.
Yes.
This is my thing now. So now it's like, no, welcome to my party. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm making the party now. Like I'm not late to anyone else's. This is mine. Welcome to mine. So that's dope, man.
Yep.
I love it. I absolutely love it. When people are like pushing and making their own brands, especially when you're young, because that was the thing that really kind of trapped me. In my mindset, I was all ready to be like, cool, I went to school, got the degree, got the job, make decent money, cool, that's being upgraded, that's fine. But then I was always like, I could tell in my industry, and I love it. It's still one of my not so typical day jobs, making websites for like these crazy brands and stuff like that, because we've been able to work with people, which I don't know if I'm fully allowed to say, but I think I can say two names. I can say we have worked on stuff for the 343, which is Halo, and we worked for stuff that was I definitely can say for Royal Caribbean. Nice. And so therefore it's been great to like do that stuff. However, I felt that I never wanted to stranglehold myself. I want to kind of say, wait a minute. At one point in time, my bosses were working for other people. And I actually met the guy that my bosses used to work for. And at some point in time, my bosses left him and said that they wanted to do their own thing. And now I'm not over here telling my bosses that I'm trying to like leave right now. But what I'm saying is that at some point in time, they realized that they could do something more. And so they did. So I love it when I hear people out here saying, I want to try making my clothing brand. I don't know if it's going to be successful or not. I want to speak success into existence. But however, the ability to try. I feel like a lot of people just get very like used to mundane. I'm just going to wake up every morning, go to work, do my thing, come home, go to sleep. Next day, go to work, same thing. And they don't do anything outside of that. So,
that's why like, dang, I forgot what I was going to say. I created Welcome to the Party because, Welcome to the Party was created because I'm versatile in like a lot of things. Like I want to do concert photography. Also, I do want to do concert photography this year.
I think you'd be dope with that. Yeah.
I want to do concert photography, models, and fashion and everything. Those are categories. I change categories into parties because life is a party. So I can do. I mean, I thought a lot of concepts when it comes to working on my website. Like I'm the party host, photographer. I'm the party host.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna present to you all types of parties in life. It could be, because parties could be like funerals, birthdays, anniversaries,
or deal around music, fashion.
Those are different parties in life, and life is a party because when we're coming in, we're experiencing the downs, the ups, the craziness. You know, I mean, where we live the time right now, everything is a freaking crazy party right now.
Yeah, it is on social media, especially. Jeez.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I'm working on that and just branching out more so people can understand what party means. But yeah, the third project. Yeah, so recap. I'm sorry if I'm like rambling too much.
That's all good.
The first one was to photograph more things. So I definitely want to do concerts. And that's the crazy thing. We'll probably talk about later about like advices, right? So I'll save that for later. But yeah, photography would be concerts, models, and clothing. Second thing will be the clothing brand I'm currently working on. Hopefully you guys will love it. The third one will be Welcome to the Party. So I'm going to try to work on my website, showcase more of my work. Don't care about the haters and just do it.
Just do it, man.
And the fourth project, I already announced it. A lot of people have been participating. So thank you for you guys. But So we're
gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it now.
Yeah.
So I always wanted a jean jacket. Shout out to Richie Lee on YouTube. He always been talking about denim and distressing.
Okay.
And denim is like a vintage piece. It's a lifetime piece. It's gonna last you forever. And I wanted to, obviously you'll see that I have pins and patches, which what everyone does. So I create this concept for myself, and hopefully it can help others. It's called the life jacket. So we don't sink in life, we float. And the reason why we float is I have these messages written on the back because all my friends got my back. So all these messages will pretty much motivate me to become who I want to be. So what I'm doing is I'm reaching out to my family and friends who I have had good conversation with about, my life, about futures, or just life in general. And I ask them, what words do you live by? What brings you where you are right now? Or what words can you give me to help me achieve my dream? So I had like a lot of friends and, people to write words and encouraging words. Hopefully one day when I wear this, if someone's having a bad day, if someone's in a creative slump and they just, read my jacket and it just clicks and that I could help someone, because yes, we are all competing against each other to be successful, but there are times where there's certain things that can help each other out, and who knows, it might form a collaboration, it might form something like that. So in the front, I have pins and patches of my interest because this is what you see me as.
Yeah.
But in the back, it's words that I'm living by that's gonna push me to my limits to take me where I want to be.
I'm gonna have you actually push this out to the front real quick.
Like, we're gonna get up, or
if you get up, yeah, go ahead, get up, yeah, put it right here in front. It'll get focus. If you bring it back a little bit, yeah, we're gonna focus. Cool, it's getting it. Yeah, nice. Flip that to the front. What those patches at? For sure. So he's got the patches. Make sure we get all the patches. Nice. Yeah.
So it's like all my favorite brands in the front, my favorite TV show and stuff like that. But nice. I mean, the messages on the jacket so far have like been pushing me so far into achieving what I want to do. And try to put this in the front so we can look at it together.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, there you go. So like, when my friend first signed this and she wrote patience, that was like the first signature I got. When I put it in my closet, every morning I wake up, I just look at it. I'm like, it's a reminder that not everything's gonna come as fast. You just gotta wait, and that time will come. So I'm gonna run through. Do you mind if I run through?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Run through.
So like, I have on my jacket, it says patience. Be patient in life. Make it happen. You have ideas, make it happen. Like, don't Don't be afraid. If you have something in mind, just do it. You don't know if it's gonna work or fail. As long as you try. It is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. If it ain't happening, it ain't happening. Don't complain and say, "Oh, it's not meant to be." It just didn't work out. Just move on. Soar high. You have no limits. You have life is unlimited. Don't be afraid to be yourself. That's one thing that we tend to do is we become somewhere we're not. Just to fit in society when people will like you for who you are. So,
correct.
Don't give a crap. Do not give a crap.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that today. Like them haters come out like, right? Hey, look what I'm going to do, man. I don't know.
You never know until you go. Traveling. Even though I went to Atlanta by myself, didn't have any friends. I actually had friends there, so it was technically not going by myself, but traveling by yourself is very relaxing.
Yeah, it's a different feel.
You have your own agenda. You self-reflect. You have your time to think about yourself. So definitely travel more.
Yeah.
This one is the past is gone. The future will never be. Focus on the present. Don't think about the past anymore. It's done. Don't think about the future because you don't know if it's going to happen.
That is a big one, yes.
Deal with it now.
Yeah.
Think of what you need now because that will take you further on in life. And shout out to Payne. I have a crazy story about this guy.
Yo, that's great. Okay.
He wrote, "Wake up from your dreams, create your reality. Make shit happen, man." So, can I cuss? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you're totally fine. I know YouTube rules. I found out from the Creator Insider channel. They're like, cursing is totally fine. As long as you don't curse within the first 30 seconds and you're not cursing a bunch through the whole thing. Cool, great. Back to the story. So, Payne.
But overall, all my advices, I would say I live by this jacket. So if we had that question coming up, I guess that's what we would say. But Payne, so a couple of months ago, I've decided to take photography serious. I've started to go to a lot of Orlando art events. I went to Orlando Museum Nights, Hanau, Loud Gallery. They had this event at the, I'm not sure if I messed up, the West Art District.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I've been there. Yeah. When they first started.
So I went there and told him my friend was visiting me. So I was like, yo, let's check this place out. I kind of want to network. I didn't really network. I just walk around and took pictures or whatnot. Yeah. Payne was performing. So I took a quick picture of him, a picture of him of rapping, and he pointed at me. So it was like, click, click, cool. Got his IG, went home, edited the picture real quick, sent it to him. Next morning, he was like, yo, appreciate the picture, man. Keep up the good work. He repost my picture. I'm like, yo, that's a blessing, because I never photographed for a musician before. Yeah. So that happened. And then my goal was to shoot one major artist this year. That's my goal. Okay. And I have no portfolio of taking any musician pictures at all. So I told myself, I'm going to limit myself to 2 local events or maybe more. Okay. So he announced Culture Shift.
Okay.
Are you familiar?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
So I think this was his second year doing it. So Culture Shift is pretty much a music event with all creatives together. So if you have a clothing brand, you could vendor. At the same time, all the local musicians and Orlando performing. And then, some people from Orlando. Yeah. So I asked him, can I shoot the performances? He was like, yeah, for sure. So that event opened my eyes to local musicians because I get to be honest, I'm starting to listen to more local artists than mainstream artists because you don't know, local talent are pretty damn good.
No, they are. Shout out to Kim, local artist Kim. That dude's dope. I'm forgetting her name. I'm trying to shout you out now. I just forgot your name. Man,
was he at the event?
No, he wasn't at the event.
I might butcher his name.
Go ahead.
Maceo is good.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's some other people out here. Oh, yeah, and my boy A1. He's not from Orlando, more Tampa, but he just dropped his album out, A1 Official. Go look him up. His album, I bought it. It's dope. I've been waiting for a long time. And also, we got to shoot a music video. We got to get that in. But anyway, I think that's freaking awesome, man. Definitely. A lot of local artists don't. Again, it goes back to creatives that are locally here. People are like, nothing is in Orlando. And I'm like, no, there's people here. Yeah. There's people here. A lot of people don't even know, even though these people are major now. But Ayo and Keys, who has produced tracks for many Grammy Award winning people now. They actually got their Grammy Awards now.
Oh, nice.
But Ayo, like he's won a Grammy. Now you have also the Nasty Beatmakers. A lot of people don't know about them, but they produce hits, with DJ Khaled and stuff like that. And I was like, they're from Orlando. I've met them in the studio, and I'm just like, there's people here, man. There's people here. So that's freaking awesome that this man's throwing this event. And I really love that you just mentioned how you're supporting the community and just saying, hey, you can come out and be a vendor for your clothing and things of that nature. Yeah. That's freaking awesome.
I would say it needs to get bigger, man. And shout out to Payne for creating this movement, too.
Payne, yeah, that boy works.
Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be at this podcast right now.
man. We'll find a way. Because I'm out there. I'm the one. I'm out there. Like, you see me. I'm going to go to some of these events because, I don't know, maybe I'm a little old school. And I guess it's just funny to feel like I'm old now because like I just turned 29 this year, and it's just like I see some younger people than me that are like 21, and I'm like,
they're on tour and stuff. Like,
yeah, I'm just like, man, like some of them, it's like a divide though. It's like either they're 21 and they're out there, or either they're 21 and they're only on social media. And I'm telling those people on social media, like, no, get out there. Like, there's a world outside. And they're like, nah, I can just be famous from my house. And I'm just like, nah, man, you got to get out there. Got to get out there. But that's freaking cool, man. That's freaking awesome.
Oh, yeah. Also, shout out to Luke the Sap from ATL, man. His music is good. And his clothing is sick, man.
Word. Look, we're going to give me all these apps for IGs and stuff. Give them to me after the podcast. Like, I asked everybody for the information. We got to get all that respect. So, I'm glad that you explained the jacket because when I saw you at the event with the jacket and I saw you asking Payne to write something on it, I was like, this is something more personal, and I love the art behind it and the messaging. Even though you didn't even explain it to me, my brain was already like, I already know what this is, and I just was like, this is dope. This is the type of stuff I think a lot of people wish that they could be in that creative mindset to do, but like you just did it. Like you just did it and you stay consistent because you have a couple. Some people will just have one person write something and then it kind of like dies. But like this is a consistent thing and it has a really good message. So when you get famous, I get this podcast and my numbers go up later, then I'm definitely going to be like, yeah, man, I remember this jacket. Like this jacket is going to end up on somebody's like documentary or something and it's going to be dope. It's gonna be, so
even like the way, like I think really deep about this jacket was like, if anything were to happen, whoever gets this afterwards, it might make them famous. It might make them become whoever, So it's all about just spreading positivity because at the end of the day, negativity is easy to achieve and get so quick. Positivity is so hard, and
it is.
I work in the office. There's always negativity. I talk to people. There's always negativity. Talk to these people who wrote on my jacket. Like it's all positive, and even when I voice my negative opinion, they always like counter it out, and I question myself. Why do I think like that? Is this gonna get me that far in life?
That's true. And I do that too, man. I do that too. A lot of things that I felt like strong on, and there's sometimes there's things that you feel very strong about. I'm not gonna go through the whole debate, but I saw like a news article of Steven Spielberg saying that he wants to use his vote on the Academy board to basically ban Netflix and streaming platforms for being able to make movies and win Oscars. And because they won Oscar for Roma, and they were able to put it out through their own platform, but they played by the rules and they put it out through AMC theaters, which technically to win an Oscar, your movie has to be a feature in a theater. So they did, and they won with that movie. And so he just felt like, well, if you're putting it on the digital medium, it's not like the old school way. And I get where he's coming from and stuff like that. But I was like ranting about it to my friend, like, this is stupid. Like the young creators who can't get through Hollywood or going through Netflix, why doesn't he give them a chance? And I'm over here talking about all this. And I'm just like, you know what? I just had to pause and like this morning be like, I'm also the old man yelling out the window, get off my lawn. I was like, wait a minute, why am I wasting my energy on this? Like, whatever he feels, he feels. I still respect the man. He's a great filmmaker, great creator. But you know what? Whatever will be, right?
Yes,
like
sir.
music went that way. Music was always on vinyl. Then it came to tapes. Then it went to CDs. Then CDs went to like, oh, now we're doing. Unfortunately, this is the end of the podcast because my recorder had an issue where, unfortunately, the battery power kind of gave out. But this was pretty much the end of the podcast. I go on to explain this whole rant about Steven Spielberg versus Netflix. And we also just talk about just not having hate for anything and letting life take its course. And obviously, welcome to the party, talking about just staying positive and keep creating. So thank you for listening, and we'll be back again with many more podcasts. Hopefully you are getting something out of these podcasts that I am releasing. It's fun for me. Hopefully it's fun for you. Thank you.